So I thought I would break down the round pen training that I do with horses at the very beginning of teaching them how to jump. And I've got my big guy, Syndicate, and he's done this a million times. But when I first got him, he had a really hard time cantering. He still doesn't have the best canter, but he's so much better than he was. And that's because I think there's a lot of footwork practice that I've done with him throughout the years. And so it all starts out with set the poles. The poles are set at 18 to start out with. Okay, so that's a nice trot through to begin with, especially for horses that are comfortable trotting. That's a nice trot through. The round pen is a pretty large round pen. You can see Syndicate, he's hanging out here. And while I'm here, I'm just going to show you what I do. This is a training bridle that my father gave me a long time ago. And a lot of people say, well, why do you put the chain over the nose? Well, the chain over the nose doesn't do anything punitive. All it does is essentially keeps the bit in place. So if I pull on the rein, instead of the bit going on the bar of the mouth, the chain kind of kicks in and they give. Okay, so that's all it is. And when I first got him, he was really hard-mouthed, and he hadn't really ever had any sort of training whatsoever as far as being soft in the mouth. So that's how I don't use this anymore on him. I'm just doing this for today. So then I take long reins and I run them underneath the leg, and then I tie him off to the stirrup. And I try to tie, if I'm tracking to the right, I try to tie the right rein a little bit tighter so he bends a little bit to the inside as he's going. And then same thing on this side, I'll take it through, tie it off into the stirrup, okay? And then what I'll do is I'll just work him at the trot to start out with, so I'll be back in just a second. So I'm going to ask him to trot, and just with a nice rhythmic trot, I'm just going to have him trot over those poles. I tend to cluck for trot and kiss for canter, just so they get used to what I'm asking for, especially on the ground. So I also use a whip. I don't hit him with it, but again, it's a visual for him when I know that I need him to go a little faster. And the idea is that he take the big step over instead of trying to throw in a little step. Okay, so now I'm going to elevate the poles. Have him trot in and canter out. Now you'll notice they kind of want to canter out afterwards because they had to jump. Come on. And then just keep urging him to canter afterwards. The canter gets a lot better when you impose a jump into the situation. Come on. Good boy. Get going. And then try to have him canter in. Come on, Syndicate. Good boy. You can add an oxer, which is 2. And you can actually make bounces out of this too. Good boy. And then you're going to get on and doing the same action as he was doing without a rider, you're going to do with a rider. So I'm just going to trot him. I'm just posting trot through the poles, letting him figure it out. You can also do 2-point half seat if you want, but I think posting helps the rhythm when they're first learning. And you want to keep them on the outside because the poles are set for that 9-foot. Okay, cantering through. Good boy. One more. That was good. Now you can do it in 2-point or sit. It's up to you. I'm doing it one-handed with the fact that I'm videoing, but that's up to you, depending on how broke your horse is. So, and then I add a jump in, and then I do it with me on him in the round pen, and then I might actually have 3 bounces, and they get used to jumping, they get used to cantering, and I hope this will help teaching a horse who struggles with cantering, like this one does, to improve the canter in a way that isn't like beating them up and running them off their feet in order to get them into canter.